news comes from Atlanta. 8 people are dead after shootings at 3 massage parlors. The suspect caught after a chase in South Georgia tonight. Authorities in Metro Atlanta are trying to see if the 3 scenes are connected.
Yeah, they happened about 5 o'clock this afternoon. The spa murders are about 350 miles north of Jacksonville. 2 spas across the street from each other in Atlanta, then 1 north in Woodstock, Georgia. That's Cherokee County. Joy Purdy's joining us in the newsroom with the latest on this breaking news. Joy, the 1 suspect caught just a few hours ago.
Yes, Kent, Mary, he is 21-year-old Robert Long of Woodstock, arrested after that chase in South Georgia in Crisp County. That's 150 miles south of Atlanta. Take a look at these photos taken by surveillance cameras at the Young's Asian Massage Parlor. This is in Woodstock, where the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office said 4 women were found dead. 1 person was hurt from a shooting there. Around 8:30 tonight, Long was captured after a chase. Investigators are looking into whether he is linked to the Atlanta spa killings at Gold Spa on Piedmont Road and Aromatherapy Spa, which is right across the street from that. 3 were found dead inside Gold Spa, 1 inside Aromatherapy. Atlanta Police Chief Rodney Bryant commented about the victims tonight.
Right now, it appears that all victims are female.
Okay, and race?
It appears that they may be Asian.
Now, police did not say whether the women were employees or customers, but they did say they're just starting this investigation. They have not yet determined a motive. We will, of course, stay on top of this breaking story for you and have more for you on News4Jax at 11 and News4Jax.com. Kent?
Thank you, Joy.
This is something, man. I just don't get it. I really don't. But I kind of do. I kind of do get it, you know. We live in an oversexed culture, and we live in a culture where, you know, people have gotten really, you know, with men, we've gotten really lazy when it comes to the art of interaction with women, you know, and being able to take a loss with rejection. We've gotten comfortable with, you know, choosing the easy way out, taking the path of least resistance when it comes to mating with the opposite sex. You know, we have come to the point where we don't like the moniker of the greater the risk, the greater the reward. We have a lot of lazy men in our society. We have become very complacent with dating apps. We become complacent with just instead of being in a relationship with a woman and it leading towards marriage and a family, we choose to take the easy way out, whether paying for sex or pornography, cucking ourselves as men, and watching another man have sex with a woman that we find desirable and pleasuring ourselves. I'm just keeping it real. Okay, this is basically the bottom line. Okay, sex addiction will lead you down a dark path. Okay, it will lead you down a very, very dark path, and it will have you do things that you never thought you would do, things that you will loathe yourself for, and the only person you really can blame is yourself. Okay, that's just basically it. You know, yes, Facebook users, something is going on with this guy mentally. Yes, it's the fact that he is, you know, abusing the, you know, getting a dopamine rush in the wrong way, and that's what it is. And the same thing for females who work in the sex trade. You know, instead of going about the right way to get guys, you choose the path of least resistance, which is dressing up in skimpy clothes, being on OnlyFans, being a sex worker, and putting yourself on display like a cheap Happy Meal. And then, you know, you end up putting yourself in a in a state to be victimized by men like Robert Aaron Long, okay, who is what I would say in kind of a case an incel. How many of you have ever seen the Players Club when Charlotte is walking home and Charlotte is harassed by this dude named Melvin, okay, and Melvin's the simp, the dude that always pays for pays money for her and admires her, but Melvin doesn't get in his brain she is a stripper. She's just there for business, okay? And Melvin follows her home and he starts stalking her and saying all this crazy crap, okay? Because Melvin chose the path of least resistance. Melvin chose to be a simp, like many guys who choose to watch porn, choose to pay for sex, the path of least resistance, okay? It's just that plain and obvious, okay? Prostitution, the sex trade, you choosing the path of least resistance, watching porn, as I said, cucking yourself as a man, watching it, getting off on another man, banging a chick that you see desirable, instead of working yourself to the point of getting that chick and being a serious relationship and hopefully end up in marriage, okay? All these things, like going to sex parlors, this is cucking this is just, sex addiction, and this leads into ugly forms. Look at Ted Bundy, okay? Ted Bundy was the same way, okay? He watched a couple of porno mags, and next thing you know, he's going around killing women, okay? It's scientifically proven that porn alters your brain, and you're abusing your, the fluids in your body, okay? And this is what happened. This man admitted it, okay? Suspect in Atlanta shootings that left 8 dead might have frequented spas, authorities said. Shootings at 3 Atlanta area spas on Tuesday left 8 people dead, including 6 Asian women. Advocates were concerned that the killings could be the latest in a surge of hate crimes against Asians, but law enforcement suggests the suspect in custody had additional motives. Police arrested Robert Aaron Long, 21, after a brief manhunt and said he is the suspect in all the 3 shootings, and authorities said Long took responsibility and they believe he acted alone. The main indicators that he has some issues, potentially sexual addiction. That's the reason why I said what I said. I may have frequented some of these places in the past. Sheriff Captain Jay Baker said at a news conference, "We still have a lot of things to process." Baker later added that in their interview with Long, 21, the suspect indicated that the spas were a temptation for him. It's a temptation for him that he wanted to eliminate. Baker told reporters it's still early on, but those were comments he made. Here's what to know. Baker said Wednesday that Long claimed during interviews that the acts of violence Tuesday were not racially motivated. Atlanta Police Chief Rodney Bryant said that it remains unclear whether the shootings could be classified as a hate crime. Well, if he said they're not a hate crime, and we have the mainstream media who wants to run with it as a hate crime. This is not a hate crime if the perpetrator says it's not. This is basically a crime of having a serious mental condition, a mental impairment called a sex addiction, and it caused him to do these things. Long was reportedly on his way to Florida to carry out additional shootings. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, Democrats, said. Georgia State Senator Michelle Ayu, a Democrat who represents a swath of North Fulton and Gwinnett counties, said she did not want to jump to conclusions about the motive, but just stepping back for a bit, I think there is a picture in this country, especially over the past year, of increasing discrimination and violence against our Asian Americans communities. Bottoms, Democrat, on Wednesday condemned the shootings. A crime against any community is a crime against us all, she said in a statement. President Biden was brief overnight and spoke Wednesday morning with Attorney General Merrick Garland and FBI Director Christopher Wray. All right. Vice President Harris called these shootings tragic and expressed condolences to the families of the 8 people killed, including 6 Asian women. We grieve for the loss, she said. It speaks to a larger issue, which is violence in our country, and to never tolerate it. While saying the motive of the shooter is not clear, Harris, a former prosecutor, noted that most of the victims were Asian and said no form of hate should be tolerated. Again, he said, Okay, he just said that this is not racially motivated. You see how the mainstream media is trying to run with this and say this is racially? It's not. The man had a sexual addiction. Okay, he basically he allowed himself to be, in this type of vice, and it took over, and here we are. Okay. 8:23 a.m. 4 Cherokee County victims identified by police. The Cherokee County Sheriff's Office identified 4 of the people killed in Tuesday's shootings in the Atlanta area. Delaney Ashley Yin, 33, of Ackworth, Georgia. Paul Andre Michaels, 54, of Atlanta. Zoiji Yan, 49, of Kennesaw, Georgia. And Gayo Fong, 44. A 5th victim, Ecleas R. Hernandez Ortiz, 30, of Ackworth, suffered wounds that are not life-threatening, police said. After long, the suspect was taken into custody. Police said they recovered a 9mm firearm. They say he confessed to the shootings during the interviews with authorities. People in the Asian American community are scared, saying Georgia State Senator who warned about hate crimes this week. Georgia State Senator Michelle Eo, a Democrat who represents the swath of North Fulton and Gwinnett County, said that she was shocked and saddened when she first saw the news of Tuesday night shootings, but also says she was not surprised. Obviously, obviously the events are still unfolding and we're still getting more information, so I don't want to jump to any conclusions as to motives behind this particular crime, she said, but just stepping back for a bit. Yeah, I've read this already. Oh boy. But this is basically this has nothing to do with race, and this has everything to do with the fact that this is a crime of lack of self-discipline and the fact of putting himself in these vices. Okay, and I've heard stories before about men who have got themselves so deep into porn addiction that they started going around and killing women. Okay, this is something that is not really uncommon. Okay, something that is pretty much but either is not talked about or is not really put in the news as much. But the media is going to run with this and say this is more of a hate crime. Days before the shooting, Al had warned her fellow state senators about the surge in crimes against Asian Americans. She did the media coverage of crimes against Asian Americans have largely focused on incidents in California and New York. I did not want this to be a story that people in Georgia ignored because they felt they were immune to it. Because, first of all, there's a fairly significant and growing Asian population in the state of Georgia, particularly in my Senate district. She said nothing, noting that Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders make up more than 24% of her district. The point of speaking about it in the Senate, is saying that there's a brewing problem and we need to be aware of it before it manifests, she said. During a news conference Wednesday, authorities said that the suspect claimed that acts were not racially motivated. Atlanta Police Chief Rodney Bryant said it's not yet clear whether the shootings that killed 8 people, including 6 Asians, could be classified as a hate crime. Well, it's not. Again, but I guess, like I said, because the sex trade is big business. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't want to tell the truth because you're hurting business. After all, we do know that there is Decrim New York. Okay, Decrim New York is basically an organization that's trying to legalize sex work. So to expose this as for what it really is basically the evils of sex addiction, the evils of the sex industry coming to light, that it has a backlash. Okay, you're giving an outlet to men who refuse to take the path of least resistance, getting the easy way to get sex instead of taking the tougher way. Okay, and this is the backfire. This is the consequence of it. Okay. I know some people are going to think, well, there are some people in this world that, you know, they just need sex. I mean, prostitution and sex trade is a a necessary evil. Well, I'm sorry, it's still evil, and look what has happened. Okay, look what has happened. In a separate statement released by AU's office, she added that our AAPI community has been living in the fear this past year in the shadow of the escalating racial discrimination and attacks. This latest series of murders only heightens that terror. Suspect was possibly on his way to Florida. Okay. Robert Aaron Long was reportedly on his way to Florida after the shootings in Atlanta, the mayor said. A news conference Wednesday, Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance indicated that Long admitted to his responsible for the shootings and he plans to head to Florida for potentially similar string of violence. Could it be possible that maybe it's just best to, like, you know, focus on the fact of this sex trade? Get real scientists to talk about this matter. Okay, to tell you the effect of pornography on the brain. Okay, maybe that's the issue. Maybe that is the issue here. But they won't do that. They won't, because, like I said, you're stepping on someone else's toes. You're stepping on a billion-dollar industry. Tell me what you think in the comments. What do you think? What do you think about this? Is this a hate crime, or is this really something to do with sexual deviancy? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, comment, and subscribe later.